I'm on my way to the gym. I'm still recovering from being postpartum. Another mom at the homeschool co-op the other day, I said, well, it's been a year since I gave birth, but, I'm still kind of recovering. And she was like, oh yeah, it takes more like 3 years. And I was like, thank you, because that's a relief. I just feel pressured by people. Like, a lot of people think that after you have a baby, you're supposed to be just overjoyed and just so bubbly, hours after giving birth, and they don't understand. I just went through a barbaric situation where I almost died. I did lose consciousness from blood loss. It takes time to rebuild after that. Plus, I was bedridden for 2 months because of everything that happened during that labor and delivery. And if you know anything about being bedridden, it is one of the worst things for your health, because you have to rebuild back the muscle mass and everything. I couldn't even walk for a long time. So I'm going to the gym now. I'm 14 months postpartum, and I'm to the point where I don't think about this most days, which is great. Because before, I had to think about it every time I tried to stand up. Like, am I going to be able to do this without blacking out? So, this whole thing made me lose faith in humanity. The way that I was treated from multiple different angles, I couldn't give birth at the hospital because it went so poorly when I did that the first time I gave birth. I decided to do the absolute crazy thing and have home births, which I never would have done had I not been so traumatized by the hospital experience. And then the second time around, the home birth went really well. I couldn't have asked for more, but there was some divine intervention, a lot of divine intervention there. And also, nothing happened to go wrong, and so the midwives weren't really tested. This time around, things did go wrong during my home birth, and to their credit, the only good thing I can say about them is that, hey, the baby didn't die, and I got revived. The baby has no lasting complications, but that is because I decided to sacrifice myself in this situation. So I can be proud of myself for that. But everything else, I'm still in disbelief and confused at how this could have happened to it's just insane. And it's because of the hospital, 2 separate midwife teams, and then unfortunately my own close family, my husband and my mom. All of the people who were involved were terrible to me, and that's been worse than the physical portion of it. And I think that's true a lot of times when people are giving birth. The statistics are that in the United States, mother mortality rate is going up. You are more and more likely to die giving birth in the United States now. And I don't know how the statistics are skewed, but apparently if you're a person of color, specifically if you're Black, you are 3 times more likely, the mother's 3 times more likely to pass away during childbirth. And the postpartum care? What postpartum care? It's insane. So I have, permanent damage from, giving birth and things. But all that being said, it's like after a year passed, something kind of clicked in me, and I started to see the light peek through this dark gray sky. And even after I had given birth and I was wondering if I was going to live or die, I was just kind of trapped on the bed because I couldn't lift my head or anything, and I didn't have anyone who was going to help me, so I wasn't sure if I was going to live or die, and I thought to myself over those few weeks, I started to feel after maybe a few weeks, I started to feel like ever so slightly that things were maybe improving. And even though it was ever so faint, such a faint improvement, it was an improvement, at the end of the day. That's the trajectory. And now I'm feeling, I'm physically stabilized, and I'm feeling like the emotional, psychological, mental, whatever toll that took on me, it started ever so faintly improving back in February, a couple months ago. And so I started off these 12-week goals to eat no more sugar and exercise every day, and it's just for my mental health mostly. And the physical aspect of it is good. I want to increase my stamina and be able to take care of my kids more. But this is great, you might be wondering, well, what happened to the baby while mom is completely disabled? Well, here's one good benefit. My husband had to step in and take care of the baby. I still nursed with the baby and stayed up with him all night. But after a couple of months of him just being in the bed with me all day, it was maybe like 6 months into it, my husband really started taking over more, because even though I was up and out of bed at that point, I was very, I have so much anger towards the situation that happened to me, and not like fully functioning, just, I don't know. I wasn't fully capable of doing things. Even now, maybe just like a couple weeks ago, I started being able to vacuum, for example, because I have like 3 hernias from the being pregnant and all that. But, so the silver lining is that my husband has gotten used to at least taking care of the baby, and he took the kids to the park today. And so I spent time cleaning the house, and now I'm going to the gym. But, anyway, I'm on the trajectory upward, and, I have other goals that I started about a month ago that I'm planning to do a total of 12 weeks pursuing, because I had the thought, okay, who could I be or where could I be in 6 months from now, or 3 months from now? I guess I was excited about the prospect of, becoming that person again. I've grown to admire who I used to be, because I think I was an amazing mom. I was a great mom, and I have really high standards, so that's really saying a lot. But being disabled for that time was grueling, because I have those high standards, and just watching that slip away, watching, my kids not having me there and regulating what's going on, and just their development passes by. Time keeps going on, and I just felt so powerless, not being able to do the things that I knew were right for them. Just one simple example is I didn't let them watch TV, or if I did, it was, very limited time. But during those couple of months, I didn't have control over that. And frankly, because I don't have any sort of person who can babysit my kids, it was just me and my husband. Husband has to work, baby has to get taken care of. We're at capacity, so the kids did end up watching more TV than I would have liked. It wasn't too crazy, but, it was, more than I would have liked. And I also have been homeschooling my kids, so luckily we were, a couple of years advanced, and so the fact that I didn't homeschool them for like 6 months didn't really matter. In public school, they take 3 months off. I needed a little longer than that. So I didn't really, I don't know, there's still a year ahead, but that's only because I'm hyper diligent and like bent on success for them. Otherwise we'd be behind, you know, because life happens and death happens.